Early this morning, the security gate refused to scan my badge. The reader flashed, "Access review required." Behind the glass, Ray the guard winced at me. "Ray, you know me," I said. "I built the badge system." "I know," he whispered. "But your name is in angry orange. That is above my pay grade." A silky voice from the lobby said, "Poetic, is it not? The system does not recognize its own creator." Chase Harrington stepped into view, suit sharp enough to cut paper. He had been at BrightForge Nutraceuticals for a handful of days, and already he walked like the floor owed him rent. The rumor mill said he was the founder Claire Harrington's nephew, imported to fix what did not need fixing. "You locked me out," I said. "I requested a compliance pause," he replied. "Different thing. Do not take it personally. It is literally my person." Ray buzzed the door after Chase nodded. I walked in, keeping my face calm because men like Chase feed on reactions. 16 years on these lines had taught me that the loudest voice is often the one with the weakest grip on reality. "Congratulations on winning the family raffle," I said. His smile tightened. "Meet me in conference room C in an hour. Bring your documentation for the validation gates. I have it in a system, a working system, and we will liberate it from your clutches." An hour later, conference room C was packed. Procurement, safety, production, and Vanessa Pike from Human Resources, who looked like she had been assigned to referee a street fight with a clipboard. Chase clicked his slide deck. The title read, "Friction is optional." He pointed at a flowchart. "BrightForge is strangling itself with redundant checkpoints. Lena Brooks created them. Lena defends them. Lena is the bottleneck." I raised my hand. "I am the seatbelt. You are the driver texting." A few people choked on their water. Chase kept smiling. "Vendor qualification currently takes multiple days. My plan compresses it to one business day." Mike Ellis from procurement shifted uncomfortably. "Lena, your dual approval rule is a pain, but it catches things." Chase pounced. "Exactly. Pain is not a metric." "Risk is a metric," I said. "Fraud is a metric. Fires are also metrics, if you count them while evacuating." He clicked to a bar graph. 97% of vendors are fine. "And the other 3% are lawsuits wearing polo shirts," I replied. Vanessa cleared her throat. "Chase, legal likes the current audit trail." Chase looked at her like she was a decorative plant. "Legal will adapt, we all will. Lena, you will support the transition, yes?" 20 pairs of eyes landed on me. I could feel the tension like a wire pulled too tight. "I will support the company," I said. "I will not clap while you remove guardrails." Chase clasped his hands. "So noted. I will circulate the new protocol. Meeting over." In the hallway, he caught up with me. "You enjoy being difficult." "I enjoy being alive," I snapped. "Those are connected." He smiled again, a neat little knife of a smile. "Careful. People who cannot adapt get reassigned." "Try it," I said. "You might learn what happens when you poke the person who built your toys." "You can either evolve, Lena, or become a museum exhibit." I leaned back toward him. "Careful. Museums still charge admission." My inbox filled with Chase slogans wearing subject lines. "Trust the partners. Move fast. Stay bold." It was like someone taught a parrot jargon and gave it a corner office. I walked to his new room, formerly our quality director's office. The plaque already read, "Chase Harrington, Efficiency Director," as if titles could do the work for him. He did not look up from his tablet. "Lena, sit. I reviewed your validation gates." "They are not mine," I said. "They are the company's survival instincts." He smirked. "Cute. Your dual sign-off for vendor changes is out. One signature, one day." "Less debate is a strange goal for a man who talks this much," I replied. His eyes lifted, cold and amused. "Vendor onboarding is slow. Industry leaders do it faster." "Industry leaders also pay fines faster," I shot back. Your speed plan removes insurance verification and environmental checks. He leaned forward. Do you want to run this company or babysit it? I want to keep it out of court, I said. You keep limbo dancing under that bar. He stood. Claire wants results. I will deliver. Train the team on the new protocol, and do it without the speeches. I left, jaw tight, and started my own protocol. A private tracking file, not on the company server, with columns for chase promise, chase change, predictable fallout. The first row read, Vendor Fast Track, Predicted Fallout, Liability, Fraud, Contamination Risk. I saved it under an uninteresting name, Cafeteria Menu Draft. The next day, Chase held a walkthrough on the production floor, narrating like a tour guide in a museum of people he did not respect. See, he told the line supervisors, we are removing hesitation. We are empowering you. Tina Roy, our packaging lead, crossed her arms. Empowering us to take the blame, you mean? Chase laughed. Nobody is taking blame. We are sharing ownership. I stepped in. Shared ownership without shared authority is just shared punishment. Chase spun toward me. You cannot help yourself. And you cannot help anyone, I said. 2 days later, the first new vendor arrived. Sunkite Materials, all glossy brochures and eager smiles. Their rep, Derek Lane, handed me insurance documents that looked freshly printed and suspiciously perfect. I asked, where is the current coverage confirmation letter? Derek blinked. This is current. Chase appeared beside him. We are not interrogating partners anymore. I am not interrogating, I said. I am verifying. Chase waved a hand. Approved. Move on. Derek grinned like he had just cheated on an exam, and the teacher applauded. An hour later, Mike from procurement cornered me by the pallet racks. Lena, this feels wrong. Chase told me to sign and stop asking questions. Then do not sign, I said. He says I have to. I looked toward Chase across the floor, laughing with Claire Harrington as if he had invented oxygen. Sign if you must, but copy me on every message. If he wants speed, we can give him speed. We can also give him consequences, neatly filed and dated. Mike swallowed. You sound like you are planning a war. I smiled without humor. I am planning an audit trail. Back at my desk, I added a second row. Sunkite Materials, documents unverified by policy change, predicted fallout, expired insurance, falsified permits, and one very loud scapegoat hunt. Early morning, my phone lit up with our insurance broker. I answered with a bad feeling and no patience. Lena Brooks? The broker asked. Sunkite Materials let their liability coverage lapse months ago. I exhaled hard. Send me the confirmation in writing. It is already on its way. Why are they on your floor with no coverage? Because our efficiency director thinks verification is optional, I said. I forwarded the broker email to Chase with 3 words. Vendor uninsured, immediate risk. His reply arrived an hour later. Thanks. Focus on solutions, not drama. I marched into his office. He was smiling at his laptop like it was applauding him. Drama? I said. If that vendor drops a forklift on somebody, what is your solution? A slogan? He did not flinch. Lower your voice. Raise your competence, I snapped. He leaned back. We will request updated documents. Request, I repeated, like a polite invitation to stop lying. Chase stood, jaw tight. You keep trying to embarrass me. You are doing that part alone, I said. I am only filing it. That afternoon, a second issue surfaced. Jaden Wen, our environmental coordinator, hurried over with a printout. The permit number Sunkite gave us belongs to a different company, she said. They swapped 1 digit. It is document fraud. I said, Did Chase approve them? Jada nodded. Publicly. Perfect, I replied. Let him be publicly wrong. I emailed Chase. Permit mismatch confirmed by verification call. Recommend immediate suspension pending investigation. His response? Do not jump to conclusions. Schedule a clarification meeting. I printed both emails and walked to Claire Harrington's office with a folder thick enough to count as a weapon. Claire looked up from her desk. Lena, you look ready to start a fire. I am trying to stop one, I said. Sunkite is uninsured. Sunkite has a permit mismatch. Both happened after Chase removed verification steps. Chase was already there, lounging like a cat in a warm window. Isolated incidents, he said. Change makes people nervous. I snapped. Fraud does not become acceptable because you call it an incident. Claire held out a hand. Show me. I slid the broker email and Jada notes across the desk. Here. And here is what happens next if you ignore this. An injury, an investigation, and a shutdown nobody can spreadsheet away. Claire read in silence, then looked at Chase. Suspend Sunkite. Reinstate the old checks for now. Chase stiffened. That undermines my initiative. Claire replied. So does fraud. I left thinking it was over. I was wrong. An hour later, Vanessa from Human Resources called me into a small room that smelled like nervous perfume. Chase was there, arms folded. Vanessa said, Chase reports you are creating hostility and refusing alignment. I stared at her. Hostility is his strategy. Alignment is his euphemism for silence. Chase smiled. Lena is emotional. I snapped back. I am factual. You just dislike facts that bite. Vanessa rubbed her temple. Can we all be professional? I leaned toward Chase. Professional means you stop treating safety like a hobby. Chase leaned toward me. Professional means you stop acting like this place is your kingdom. I smiled. It is not my kingdom. It is my infrastructure. You are just visiting it with muddy shoes. Chase did not learn from being wrong. He learned how to be louder. The next week he launched the Clean Sprint initiative, which was a shiny name for cutting 3 quality stations from our line. Mid-batch sampling, label verification, and shipment record review, all gone, like he was erasing pencil marks instead of safeguards. He announced it with a grin. We are trimming waste. Throughput goes up, cost goes down. Tina Roy snapped. Cost goes down until we ship the wrong mix to the wrong client. Chase pointed at a chart. Errors are rare. I shot back. Because we catch them. You are trying to prove a parachute is unnecessary by pointing out how many people land safely while wearing one. Chase rolled his eyes. Lena, you are addicted to worst-case scenarios. You are addicted to being right in public, I said. This is a factory, not a stage. He turned to the room. Implementation begins in 2 weeks. Lena will lead training. I laughed. You want me to train people to do it wrong? He leaned in, voice sharp. You will train them, or you will be reassigned. Pick one. That evening, I called Dr. Morgan Steele, a regulatory consultant who had coached us through audits. Hypothetical, I said. If we remove mid-batch sampling and shipment record review, what happens? Morgan replied, You weaken traceability. If a defect escapes, you invite an inspection and corrective action. Send me the plan. I sent it. Morgan emailed back a warning and a list of standards Chase was about to ignore. I printed it and added it to the museum. Early morning, Claire Harrington called an all-hands meeting. One agenda line: operational alignment. Chase stood beside her like a proud shadow. Claire said, Change is difficult. Some people are struggling. Chase added, Some people are undermining leadership. I stared at him. Some people are confusing speed with skill. Claire frowned. Lena, you contacted an external advisor without routing through Chase. I contacted a compliance expert because Chase treats caution like an insult, I replied. Chase snapped, You are going behind my back to scare management. I snapped back, You are going in front of everyone to scare safety. Claire raised her voice. Enough. Lena, acknowledge Chase leadership and stop creating friction. Chase smiled. A public apology would help the team move forward. I stood. Fine. I am sorry you were placed in a role you cannot perform. The room froze. Chase turned red. Claire pointed toward the door. Lena, step out. You are off operational projects until you can demonstrate alignment. I nodded once and walked out, past the break room, past the line, past screens that all depended on systems I had built. Back at my desk, I opened the bottom drawer and pulled out an old folder from my first year when I worked under my own consultancy, Blue Lattice Process Works. Inside was a clause I had highlighted long ago. Proprietary integration and monitoring modules remain the property of the consultant unless separately licensed. I read it twice, slow and steady, like a verdict. Then I opened a fresh document and started listing every module I had created, tuned, or rebuilt since my first contract. If they wanted a museum exhibit, I would charge admission. The next early morning, I did not go to BrightForge. I went to my kitchen table, poured coffee that did not taste like punishment, and opened my laptop. Blue Lattice Process Works still existed as a registered business. Quiet, legal, patient. I reviewed my list of modules: vendor intake portal, batch trace tracker, label scan reconciler, shipment ledger generator, executive dashboard, the one Chase loved showing visitors because it made him look like a wizard. I logged into the administrative backend through the remote access I had maintained for emergency support. Approved years ago, documented, boring, and therefore invisible to people like Chase. I changed one parameter in each module: license status, from active to pending renewal. No sabotage, no data loss. Just the digital equivalent of a door that politely refuses to open without the correct key. An hour later, my phone started vibrating. First call, Tina. Lena, the label scan station is throwing errors. It says to contact Blue Lattice. Second call, Mike. Procurement cannot finalize vendor approvals. Everything is stuck in review. I did not answer Chase. I wanted him to feel what it was like to argue with silence. Later that day, Claire Harrington called from a private number. Her voice had lost its polished edge. Lena, our systems are degrading. We are seeing license warnings tied to Blue Lattice Process Works. Explain. I sipped my coffee. You removed me from operational projects. You also removed your right to my work without a license. Claire paused. Are you holding our operation hostage? I am holding my work accountable, I replied. You called it legacy friction. It turns out friction was the only thing keeping your nephew from lighting money on fire. Chase cut in, apparently on speaker. This is unethical. I laughed. Unethical is cutting verification and calling fraud an incident. This is contract law. Do you want to read the clause together, or do you want to keep guessing? Claire asked. What do you want? A new agreement, I said. Emergency restoration rates are $350 per hour. Ongoing support is a monthly retainer with a minimum term, and any process change that touches traceability, labeling, vendor qualification, or shipment records gets reviewed by me in writing first. Chase snapped. So you want veto power? I want consequences to stop landing on operators who did not design the mess, I replied. Claire asked, and your role? External consultant, I said. No badge, no public apologies. Chase keeps his title, but if he bypasses controls again, the retainer doubles. Chase barked, You cannot set terms like that. I answered, Watch me. I built the doors. Silence. Then Claire said, Send the contract. By the next early morning, the signed agreement arrived. I toggled the license status back to active. Systems came alive like they had simply been waiting for adults. A week later, I walked into BrightForge through the front entrance, not the side door with the time clock. Chase was in the lobby, jaw clenched. He muttered, You think you won? I smiled. I think you learned. Winning is just the receipt. He tried one last jab. You are still old school. I leaned close. Old school is building something that works. New school is breaking it and calling it leadership. Study harder.